Hi, this is Carlin, and I just wanted to do a quick post for the Any Service Member book blog that I'm doing. I'm working without notes right now, so I'm just going to make this up as I go, and I might edit it and might just let it go as it is. But in the last couple of weeks, I've been just writing a lot on the book, and my original estimate was that I hoped I could have it done in time to publish it by the end of March. Right now, it is the first week of January still. I think it's the 5th today. And in the last couple of weeks, I've been writing about 10 days per day. So I would look at 10 diary posts and rewrite them, and I was getting 10 or 12 done every day. And at this rate, if I can keep up this kind of headway on it, I should be able to be finished the first draft mid-January, which puts me 10 weeks ahead of schedule. So yay, I'm really excited about that. Also, I was digging around in my pile of stuff, and I found some more of the information from the actual original diary that I kept. I got a full names list printout of everybody that I got on my address book. Still looking. I haven't looked at all of it yet, but I'm hoping I have some of the original letters, copies of them that I wrote to everybody else, because I've got the letters that people wrote to me. I saved all of those, but I haven't yet actually seen the newsletters that I sent out to everybody else. On the original computer, I think I did save them, but I don't have that anymore, so I'm kind of thinking between the printouts that I have and also some of the files that I've archived since then, because I did back up the whole project several times, and then since then I was only looking at the diary part of it, so hopefully I've still got the rest of it also. But part of the reason for posting this video right now is one of the follow-up projects I hope to do when the book is finished is to do a video documentary of kind of like a road trip, where I actually go find as many of the original people that wrote to me as possible, and just say thanks to them personally, and make a video documentary of that road trip, and going to find everybody. And I know just from the top of my head, I've got people in maybe not every state, but a lot of states. I wasn't specifically looking to get one from every state or something, but I had several people in California that I'd met once already back in 92, 93 when I first got back from Desert Storm. There was people in Florida and New York City that wrote to me, and Illinois and Texas, and so I've got people in a lot of these different states. And so even if I don't do it all at once, if one summer I take a month off and I drive through the western states, and then the next year I hit the the middle states, and then maybe split it up into a couple of years, or if I end up selling a lot of copies of the book and actually had a good supply of money coming in, well then I would definitely do it all in one shot, and and so on. But so part of it, just kind of posting ideas about what's my next project, what's my follow-up, and so on. Just writing the book, that's an accomplishment for me as it is by itself. But then I'm thinking ahead, and what do I want to do next? And I've already thought about a couple other books that I want to write on a completely different subject. And just because I've had a lot of fun writing this one, so I thought, okay, well, this would be great to actually sit down and do this again. And I'm also pulling together a mastermind team. I've got people that are helping me on this project already. I've got Chris, who is my artist person, who's a friend I met on Twitter that is helping me with the artwork for the book. I've got Tina, who is my co-writer, ghostwriter, editor. We're making up titles as we go, kind of thing. But so there's a couple people there already, and so I'm thinking, wow, with the right group of people working with me on projects, and I'm helping them on projects, and they're helping me on projects. What could we do with a team of people that I've not been able to do on my own? So I'm kind of doing this kind of a post just to document ideas that I have, and hopefully I get some traction on some of them. And if other people see this and think, wow, that'd be really a great thing to be involved with, well then, hey, that's cool. When I did the Hurricane Katrina documentary, for example, I did put a lot of my own money into it, but I also had 40 people that contributed some of their money to help with gas to get there and back and cover some of the expenses and so on. I had a couple businesses that contributed a lot of supplies that I used on the trip or on the editing process after and so on. So that kind of thing has always been as interesting to me, to have a group of people come together and do something that one person can't do on their own. Also on that, if you're seeing this and you think, wow, you've got an idea, of something that you would like to have a video created of or something like that, and you either don't have the time or you don't have the resources to do it, definitely send me an email and let me know that you saw this and say, hey, we've got this idea, we'd like to do this, but we don't have something. It could be something, anything from like a family reunion where you have a couple hundred people show up and everybody would want a copy of the video. Well, then it makes sense for me to drive somewhere and spend a weekend and do that. I guess that's pretty much it for now. I just wanted to get down in front of the camera and get used to talking to it again. I'm on Twitter. Look for me there. I'll put a link on the end of this. You can just email me. I'll put a link up for that. My website is Seattle-Hotshots with a Z. I'll put a link up for that too. There it is, huh? Okay, I think we're done. I'm going to let this go, and now I can edit it and put it up. Bye. Thanks for watching.